Jared Schneiderman.
What's up, guys?
Philip Dassing.
What's going on?
We got Kyle Wagner.
Hey, it's good to be back.
And we also have a special first-time guest, Kevin Caldwell. Kevin, you are the former congressional candidate for the Libertarian Party.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the Maryland 6th Congressional District. Yep.
Yeah, man.
And I'm also the host of the show that we have you guys on once in a while, in and around and through Maryland politics, too.
Yeah, TV Free Baltimore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where can we find TV Free Baltimore for the listeners?
Just do a Google search for TV Free Baltimore. I think it's .com.
Yeah, sweet.
Yep, it'll pop up. Or I think actually if there's a couple, maybe they can get on to your shows.
Dude, you were like, just Google it your damn self.
Yeah, there you go, man. I don't remember the launch. But you guys are on there, so you should tell your listeners they can find you there, too.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Well, we did plug that on Facebook. But
There
yeah,
you go,
why the fuck? Well, let's just plug it again. Yeah. So Jared, Phil, and I were on an episode of TV Free Baltimore. And you guys can find that on YouTube, also Facebook.
And thanks for having me, guys, by the way. It's nice to see you cats again.
Gotta do it again sometime, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this will be like our third time hanging out, dude. And this is like your second time meeting Kyle?
Yes, actually, but unfortunately, my apologies. I didn't remember the first time, but yeah.
No, he's not very memorable,
Oh,
really.
not that
He was occupied because it was at the Maryland LP's annual state picnic. And he was there for his nomination, so he was giving a speech to.
Kyle, were you there working the glory hole?
The LP glory.
I don't even know how to respond to that. Yeah.
Is that how you hurt your wrist, Kyle?
That's
no. Wow, that jumped out quick.
Kyle, what's up with this wrist?
You were just waiting for that. I hurt my wrist playing ice hockey. I got slashed on the wrist.
Field hockey?
Ice hockey.
Oh, okay.
And I'm gonna be fine. I got an X-ray from patient first, and they said it's not broken or fractured, so just rest for a week and I'll be fine.
Nice,
cool. Sweet. So do you have to use like your left hand right now?
Probably if I'm gonna. Yeah, I guess I do. That's a good point, Matt.
I'm just saying, like, if there wasn't
welcome to the club, Kyle.
If there wasn't okay, gotcha.
It feels like someone else. Yeah. Right.
All right.
Stranger.
So
It's like a stranger.
So what's this? Number one this week, we got there's been another shooting.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we have this topic at least once a month, if not more frequently.
What are you saying? Something needs to be done about guns? Some common sense gun control, Kyle?
I know that's always the gun control, the mental health kind of narrative. The last time there was a school shooting, I said that we need to talk about the lack of socialization. You know, a lot of times shooters are ostracized from their friends and ostracized from the school, and they feel alienated, and so they take some of that out on the herd, or if you will. But with this instance, the guy was older. I mean, he was this was a workplace shooting. So you have different types of shootings. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's the same situation, right? You can't say that a guy that's in his 30s or 40s necessarily has the same issues as an angsty teenager, right? It's going to be a different cause. I have not read enough about the shooter to know what his profile is or what caused this. Phil, did anybody hear anything about this guy? I don't even know the guy's name. Like normally
Dewan, I think his name was.
Dewan. All right. Weird. Do we know what motivated him to shoot?
Just disgruntled employee. That's all I heard of it so far was his name. And
his name was Dewan?
Yeah.
Wait. Dewan to blow his dick?
Maybe you should ask him.
Wow.
Is he? They didn't kill him, right? He's in custody. I think.
He died.
Oh,
he
died.
Himself. I thought it was, dude.
We have to read the news before we come on here.
Well, I just, like you said, Kyle, man, I get so sick of reading the same story, the same narrative about the same thing, and it's tragic. It sucks. I mean, but I can't. I don't know how much I can invest in hearing the same thing again. I mean, especially because it's the narrative of the whole mass shooters. It's not any shooting. I mean, because think about it. When we came on the show at TV Free Baltimore, you know, we were talking about that shooting where it was the two transgender kids that went on, shooting and they killed a bunch of people.
No, one of them was transgender.
One transgender, the other was gay, I think it was.
Was he gay? The purple hair guy?
Yeah, I think so.
Thanks for the clarification,
I know.
Kylie.
Dude, it's Pride Month.
You're
man.
welcome.
Better get that distinction down.
Yeah. No, not all shootings are the same. It's always different. It's always a different angle, and a workplace shooting's a lot different from a school shooting, and
Oh, yeah,
And, you know, it may not be us. Maybe there just hasn't been a lot of publicity or coverage about this guy. Normally, I see the person's face plastered all over the place or whatever. Like, I just haven't even seen any real headlines. It's kind of like, I don't know if they're intentionally trying to bury the story or not really cover
Is it
that
true
well.
that this building was a gun-free zone?
Yes.
Oh,
Well, how did they get a gun
And
in
there
there
was
then?
there was a police.
How does that happen?
I don't know. Oh wait,
It's a
wait.
gun-free zone.
And there was
magic, Jared.
apparently there was a police station 150 yards away,
wow.
Wow.
and he still got off.
Now,
that
are
much.
are they getting the typical blowback? I'm not aware of you like you guys are of the response from the other side of the gun control. I mean, is that crowd?
Well, it doesn't really
Cheer-
fit in the narrative of
Okay.
white, fragile, toxic masculinity, that whole thing.
Okay.
So it's really not.
Because it was a black guy?
Yeah. So it's not. It's not going to go that far, but I think with
It's still good for gun control.
Exactly,
arguments,
yeah.
right?
But for the most part, this will die down and disappear. And, you know, the typical leftist responses, oh, these Republicans and their thoughts and prayers, we need action and blah, 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 all that bullshit. Like, how many times can you, like, the same thing plays out, same response. I just...
I
don't care.
swear I clicked USA Today. What we know about the suspect in the Virginia Beach shooting, right? And it's like, it killed 12. Maybe they're counting him. Yeah, but it's almost like they have that headline. What we know about, you know, fill in the blank
Is
shooter.
he white, male? Like, might as well change it to that.
40-year-old Dwayne Craddock, a 40-year-old city public utilities engineer.
Yup.
Wow. Long-time city employee.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no prior.
Told you.
I mean, what do you want me to
Hey,
say? Like,
did you see? I saw another headline that came up this week. I believe it was in New York, right? This dude shoots a couple home intruders, right? And he shot them with a gun that was passed down to him from his father. But, you know, since he never did the legal paperwork to transfer it, you know, even though he was defending his life on his own property, you know, he's going to get into trouble for that, for the possession of this gun that was just handed down to him from his father.
Now
forbid.
is the
What
DA
paperwork?
actually prosecuting in that case?
I don't. I'm not sure if they're going to actually take that to trial or what. But it's pretty fucked
You said this was in New York?
Yeah.
I believe it was New
I thought,
York.
I knew it was... yeah.
New York City or just New York State?
I think it was New York State.
I lived up around in that area, and a lot of times when you hear them, you know, about them, you'll hear that they're going to, but they never actually follow through and press charges on it because of the fact that who you gonna? Well, here's the main one that DAs care about: who can they get a jury to convict you?
Exactly.
Of it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, on this whole series of that, under that, you know, that's really where the power of it lies, is in the jury system of it. So a lot of these things that we talk about, whether it be gun control or any others, you know, if you can't find a jury of your peers to convict you of it, it really doesn't matter if it's legal or illegal.
Yeah, jury nullification, FGW. Right.
Yeah, I've always been a skeptic of jury nullification, just because a lot of libertarians, like a lot of jurors, are not libertarians, right? They're not going to participate in jury nullification because they agree with the laws in the first place.
Well, I'm not
Right.
necessarily talking jury nullification, but what if we as jurors just refuse to participate and take part?
Well,
in the classic sense that you're talking
Well,
about.
I mean, Kevin, all jury nullification is saying, you know, I do not agree with this law, therefore I'm not going to convict somebody for this law.
Okay.
I mean,
I mean, libertarians could do it if you happen to
Now,
find yourself on a
and
jury in
but
a criminal
I think
trial.
But doesn't that happen anyway? I mean,
Um,
the government every day picks people they're not going to prosecute for based on much further ambiguous reasons than that.
Well, you know, I think the whole thing is that, you know, it seems like the courts, like, they've actually punished people for passing out jury nullifications in front of jury nullification pamphlets in front of courts, actually. Whereas, you know, Arvin Vohra, he was on the podcast recently, and I believe he said freedom of the press in this country was actually started through jury nullification. So, I mean, you can get things done through jury nullification, and we all know there's a bunch of bad laws. So, you know, why shouldn't we just be... I mean, anytime I have a friend mention to me, like, oh, I'm getting picked for jury duty, you know, I'll just tell them, hey, no victim, no crime. You know, I'll start up that conversation because, you know, I think that's the time to have it. You know, and it only takes one motherfucker on that jury to say this is a bullshit law, not guilty, And then this dude gets off, and all he was doing was defending his life on his own property.
Well, and don't we as citizens, to a certain extent, have the responsibility to civically disobey and fight laws that are unjust? I mean, what other means do we have to do it
Right,
under?
exactly. Jury nullification is like one of the coolest things because it's really one of the best ways that you can make a difference. I would argue you can probably make a fuck of a lot more difference with jury nullification than you can with voting.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well,
I
in
mean,
this current system, I'd
yeah.
agree with you.
Yeah, I
on
mean, you're
that,
talking
yeah.
like somebody's life,
Yeah.
whereas like, I went out and voted for Gary Johnson. What the fuck did that get me?
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm not hating on Gary too hard,
You can make a pretty big splash in politics just through activism. If you're like, there's different degrees of activists. There's the voter, that'd be like the basic person willing to just go out of their house and vote, and then you could be somebody that goes door to door and actually knocks on, and is handing out pamphlets. And there are some people that just take it to extremes, and they got their car decorated, and it becomes a full-time job. That cause becomes their full-time job, and you can sway a lot of people if you are really dedicated to making a big stink about something.
Yeah, it's
So
like I remember when Jared had that Bernie patch on his yarmulke.
Yeah, even a bumper sticker is like one step above. Like, there's voting, but put a bumper sticker on your car. Now, people are seeing that. I used to have a libertarian bumper sticker on mine.
Oh, what happened? What happened, Kyle?
It was starting to get really faded, and I took it off.
Did you just get ashamed after
Is
we
that like
lost our?
Wait, was that like a metaphor for your involvement in politics? It started fading, and
No, yeah, I mean, yeah,
So
I
took
guess
it off.
you could look at it that way a little bit, but
Kyle Wagner metaphors.
Yeah, I don't know. I should probably put a fresh one on there, but like I just was looking around the parking lot at work. There's almost no cars have bumper stickers, and I was just like, eh.
Yeah, I still have the magnet on from the last election of
Gary
Sean
Johnson?
No, Sean Quinn.
Oh, okay.
And I still have that on my car.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah, rep that shit, dude.
I had a Ron Paul bumper sticker on my old car.
I did as well. Yeah.
I didn't
think we have
even
a
put one of mine
picture
on my car.
Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
We have there's a picture on Facebook of my car, Bergman's car, this other guy we worked with's car.
Yeah, I think it was like four or five people that we worked with.
Yeah, we all had Ron Paul bumper stickers on,
and we
from
parked
like
right next to each other.
2012. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was cool.
Anytime you go to a libertarian event, they're in the parking lot. Like most of the cars have political bumper stickers. It's interesting. You're like, I guess this is the right place,
But yeah, when I bought a new car, I said I wouldn't put any more bumper stickers on.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude,
cool story, bro.
My first car
I
was
don't know. I
like
just don't like
covered
the way it
in,
looks.
my first car was covered in band stickers, like all this, like from the windshield, like the back of it. I had
From the
like a
window.
collection.
I always wanted to spray paint TR on my car.
For
Teddy Roosevelt?
No, the movie Suburbia. Okay.
Oh yeah, Suburbia. I remember that.
You don't
shit.
know about that Simple Plan?
Man, motherfucker.
Simple Plan,
Dude,
motherfucker.
you don't think I don't know about that shit? With the Vandals were in that? I
No,
remember.
dude, you listen to Simple Plan, dude.
Dude,
Why
that
don't
was
you
a
get the fuck
joke,
out of my
and
face?
you didn't get it, man. It went over your head.
I didn't get it. What? I mean, dude, let's like name the bands you do listen to. Okay.
wow, dude,
Let's
we're
like-
having a
Whoa,
band
whoa,
off
we're
right
going
now.
there.
Dude, weren't you?
Okay,
weren't
can
you
we
like
tell
Good
everyone the
Charlotte?
backstory? Can we tell everyone
Weren't you
the
into
backstory?
Good Charlotte?
Can we tell everyone the backstory?
Yeah, I need the backstory.
Okay, so we're some dude like he's new
Weren't
to the
you
group.
all like, "This is the anthem"? Throw your hands up.
That is true. Well, I just don't want to be like you, man. I don't want to be like you. Just like you. So the backstory is some guy was on the Facebook group, and if you're not a part of the group, you should join it. Go to search up Punk Rock Libertarians group, join it. And so some guy, of course, it's like whatever, like every month or so, someone makes a post saying there's not enough punk, and what's punk about this group? And so some guy made this post. He was like, I'm gonna make the first punk post in this group, and too much politics, more punk. And he posted a Bad Brain song, and I was like, okay, it's cool, but he's just being like, dude. So I just I copied and pasted his entire post, but instead I just put a Simple Plan video. The pop punk band Simple Plan. And so everyone started shitting on me, not realizing it was a joke, including Matt here.
Not realizing, whatever, dude. I'm saying, dude, I don't know.
And it was funny, though.
After that, I thought it was cooler when I posted DOAs. We don't care what you say. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Like, I don't know DOA, man. Hardcore in 81.
Somebody called Matt a
Come on,
boomer.
They're a
I was looking at
boomer?
One
Oh,
post,
shit.
they called Matt a boomer. I was like, Matt's obviously Generation
Okay,
X.
well, Kyle, let's talk about your social media activities of the week.
I could
So,
understand.
Kyle,
yeah, all right.
Kyle, let's talk about your activities, okay?
What
So
happened?
first off, this week I was friended on Facebook by an individual as Kylie Wagner.
Oh yeah.
So this is your new page. You're transitioning.
It's not my page.
As prophesied
It's
by
not
Matt
my
Bergman.
page. Somebody took my picture and they're making me out to be a girl.
So they took your they took your picture with the blowjob helmet on, and they ran it through one of the, okay, sorry, and they ran it through one of those filters to make you look like a chick, and then they made a profile.
That's awesome.
That's yes.
And the profile is Kylie Wagner, and I was the person that coined that term. Correct, Kyle?
I don't know who's behind the page. I assumed it was you. I mean, because you did coin, as far as I know,
is it
coin
Bergman?
the term.
He doesn't have Snapchat.
Yeah,
And
he
you've been
doesn't
giving me
Snapchat,
this like shit, like I'm transitioning or
Wait.
something for the past
Maybe
like
it's
4
Jill,
months. So,
Can I go deep in the docs on that for a minute?
all right.
I think that new app is kind of a fill-in for people who might transition in the future, and the CIA wants facial recognition software updated, so they got us to do their work for them by just seeing what we look like as girls or the opposite sex.
Yeah, that could be.
That's true, man. Think
Yeah.
about it. I've also been doing a lot of research on the
Flat Earth.
lizard, the lizard people.
Oh,
It's been fascinating.
Anyway, it's a dumb page. It should be
it's
taken
pretty
down.
funny, dude.
What the Kylie Wagner page?
Are you gonna petition Facebook to take it down?
Kyle, are you going to report the page?
Do you feel like it's libelous?
I don't care enough.
Does it offend
No.
you?
Not really.
Okay.
Oh man,
I think it's stupid.
I think it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Well, I'm glad.
I can
I'm
see.
glad people are.
I can see
enjoying.
why it's maybe not quite as much fun for you,
Yeah.
but I've had
Never
fun.
as fun to
I
be.
mean, dude,
there.
what if there was like a Mary Bergman page or something,
Yeah.
or like a Phyllis page,
A
Whoa.
Phyllis Dassing
Phyllis.
page.
Don't give people ideas, man.
Phyllis Dassing. He's probably gonna make that shit when he goes home.
Phyllis Dassing.
I'm
know
not
what we're
making
talking
that. I will
about.
not be making that.
I think we have a new name for him for the chat. Something less offensive, I guess.
you sidetracked my whole point.
All right,
you
go ahead.
got,
Sorry.
got called a boomer by
Yeah.
somebody, and I was
I
like,
think that was a joke.
yeah, probably. But he never comes off as a boomer
There's
to me.
nothing.
well, that's good to know, Kyle.
Or a millennial.
Thanks.
You like?
I mean, Matt has
you
decent
fit-
taste in memes.
Well,
can't
he's
be a
like
boomer.
very much like
Yeah,
the
dude.
anti-authority, rebellious, kind of like Gen X. He fits that mold. So I feel like you just
Rock on, Kyle.
yeah.
Gen X, bro.
Oh yeah.
I was I'm a little bit younger than him. I'm really between millennial and Gen X, and
Yeah, I'm straight up millennial, bro.
yeah,
Don't fuck.
I can tell.
Don't fuck with it.
Oh man.
It's a lot of you guys.
What's this? Number 2. Finally, we're on topic number 2. We've got Mexico tariffs. So there's
Oh,
going to
shit.
be. So what's up with these tariffs?
So Trump has said that he's going to put a 5% tariff on Mexican imports until Mexico cracks down on immigration.
Oh, that's
So
and it's not just
I'll
5%; it
interject.
increases.
right, it increases if
Yeah.
they don't do anything. It's like a perpetually increasing threat. So
I think by like November, December timeframe, if they haven't come in, then it's at 25-30%.
wow,
Yeah,
I
it's
hadn't
pretty
heard
high.
that.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
yeah. It said they're gonna go up to 25. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how he can
So
unilaterally.
Mexican Fender guitars. What's going on with those?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know how he can unilaterally do this stuff. Like, I would think these kinds of policies would require an act of Congress.
Congress
Well,
is so
Congress-
irrelevant.
Well, Congress can override it,
Yeah.
but they're pussies. So
But they should have to pass it. In my
well, they should.
opinion.
Well, yeah.
Of
Like the
course.
executive is supposed to enforce the laws that Congress passes, not make the policies. But it seems like as we become more and more towards a central, it just seems like power is going to the executive. So that kind of bothers me. And then obviously, we know the tariffs the cost of tariffs gets passed on to the American consumers. We're the ones buying all these products. The company's going to go, well, if you increase my cost by 5%, I have to increase the price by 5%. So yeah, it hurts us. We end up paying more taxes.
Well, yeah, it's funny because somebody I think mentioned in jest, what's that going to do to Mexican Stratocasters? But Mexican
I
Stratocasters,
just said that. Yeah.
Mexican Stratocasters in the past 6 months they've went from being like they had their standard Strat for like $599, and now Fender has replaced it with they call it the Player Strat. So it's just basically their new name for a standard, but they bumped the price up. I believe it's like $75.
Okay.
So with a 5% tariff, you'll probably see Mexican guitars go up. it could be interesting. Or what you might see the Fender making more guitars in China. If because right now they're doing pretty great with their higher end Squire stuff.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing about it is that it says Squire on the headstock.
Well, you can always count on business is going to try to figure out one way or the other to get around that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Closer to the mic.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Closer to the mic, dude. Kyle was watching your lips, dude. Does that make you uncomfortable? That would make me uncomfortable. I'm just fucking around. But yeah, it's like you want to speak into it like you would like an SM58.
Yeah, Joe.
Like
Was this in your
inch and a half,
phone?
2 inches away.
Hey, so here's a topic we kind of skipped over, but I feel like we got to talk about
I
this.
just remembered it.
And it's the dude who lit himself on fire outside of the White House a few days ago.
Didn't he live?
No, he died.
Oh, he did die. Okay.
No one's quite sure why he did it. I mean, from what I heard, he was on bath salts or K2 or something like that.
That doesn't seem likely. I mean, if you do it in front of the White House, to me, I would take that as a political protest, right? You're there for a reason. It's probably an objection to Donald Trump. That's what it would
seem like. Yeah. But at the same time, I mean,
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
There's got to be a mixture. Maybe he had some anti-Trump sympathies.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're getting flooded over there.
Well, I mean, if you're on bath salts, like, are you coherent enough to understand that
here's the
dousing
thing.
yourself with
The guy-
gasoline?
Maybe not bath salts, but I think it was like, I don't know, something. He was on something. PCP maybe.
Yeah.
I heard that something about K2, although I don't think K2 would cause that, but I've had K2. It's not that crazy, but
Oh wow, Jared, you're so hardcore.
oh yeah, dude. Just that fake weed shit back in fucking college.
Oh cool. Is Kyle going to talk about DMT now?
No.
He's got the crayons.
Kyle Rogan over there. No, but apparently, yeah. So like he lit himself on fire, and then he was just like walking, like
And you see his face, like he's just
Yeah, like-
calm.
he's
So
not
he was like fucked
not
up.
like a normal person.
So you guys have watched the video of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
there's like pictures and
He's just
everything,
walking,
too.
yeah, and you can
I
see
saw
his
one
face.
picture.
And like the EMT people would come over and they're telling him to like get down on the ground and stop, drop, and roll.
Stop, drop, and roll.
And he's
that's
just
what-
like, no, and he
I'm
just
good.
keeps going.
He's like, I'm good, bro.
Yeah, he had to be on something.
Freaking cold out here.
Or had some real crazy manic break or something. I don't know, but
Well, I just think it's kind of funny. Here is also conspiracy theory, Phil, right now.
Uh-oh.
So the first report came out saying he was on hallucinogenics. And it's funny how it's convenient how Denver just decriminalized mushrooms. Oakland is talking about doing the same thing.
Yeah.
There's a huge national conversation going about hallucinogens, and all of a sudden this dude just sets himself on fire, and everyone's like, well, he was on hallucinogenics, sorry.
yeah, they called him hallucinogenics.
Yeah. I'm like, might be he might have got that phone call that told him like the bird rises on the sea line or something like that, and it just tripped in his him into his pre what is that called?
Yeah, and
His mission.
yeah, I would seriously doubt it. I mean, I just never really think those conspiracy theories sound plausible. It's just probably more likely he did some
Dude.
drugs and did something stupid.
Look up the lizard people thing. It's
If it's
amazing.
not possible, it wasn't from a lack of them trying.
But don't you guys think it's a little weird? Oh, the first
It-
thing
it
comes
wouldn't-
out
it-
is he's on hallucinogenics.
That wouldn't be a coincidence in the history of things and how things have been introduced to the American public or things controlled in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, I mean, it's not beyond our government to.
implausible,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not beyond our government to arrange some kind of incident, catastrophe, or something because of,
I know.
Some kind
Agendas.
of 9/11.
No, I mean, but their agendas.
Some kind of Tower 7.
Yeah, it's really far fetched to me.
But okay, but also going back to the thing, I don't really believe that, but it also people were quick to say, oh, he was protesting Trump, and I mean maybe, but the dude was really anyone who sets himself on fire is either really determined or really crazy, or maybe he's on something that
On
made him
something,
crazy.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I understand. So it might make sense that he was on PCP and just was like, I hate Trump, I should set myself on fire, like all those Buddhist monks.
I mean, he
did,
might have
like,
had. Yeah. Well, yeah.
you know, but I don't think it had more to do with Donald Trump than whatever was influencing him, whether it was some type of medical chemical imbalance or it was some type of drug he was on. But I'm not quick to say it was, you know, oh, he just has Trump derangement syndrome. Like I saw a lot of people just throwing that out there.
Well,
Judging
yeah,
by
I mean,
more than just a
I
joke.
think-
Like it was like a theory.
And
of
I think
theirs.
that's giving the people with TDS too much credit.
yeah.
That beyond, you know, their Twitter rants and their, you know, just craziness online, I don't think any of those people would have the gumption, what I see it,
MK Ultra.
the gumption
Thank you,
to
Alex.
the gumption to actually like light themselves on fire.
Yeah, I don't think they would do that.
Well, from what you guys were saying too, he was coherent enough to talk to people, right? I mean, when they were asking him no, or I mean, he.
Oh, I don't know if.
I mean, not talk, but utter words. From
I don't
the
think
video.
he said anything.
Oh,
I
really?
think he just
Okay.
continued just like
Well,
walking.
Okay.
Like I don't think he was coherent.
I mean, well, when you described it though, this was I would have assumed like he would have been screaming out of his mind or
Right,
something to
yeah,
that effect,
yeah.
not
He
just
wasn't. Did you
walking
see his
around
face?
calm. Yeah.
yeah, he was just walking around.
So
Yeah.
maybe by that, if that was something to be an anti-Trump, don't you think he would have at least mustered the energy to say something?
Leftists love screaming, so
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm just saying when you
Like you would have been like "fuck Trump" or like
something. I
This
mean,
is
you
against
went
Trump.
through all that trouble to set yourself on fire.
Orange
You figured
man
you would go ahead and
bad!
tell people why
Right.
as well.
Yeah,
It's kind of a failed effort altogether.
Yeah.
Right. If people are sitting around going, we're not really sure,
Sure why you did it,
why
yeah,
he did
yeah,
it.
yeah.
You know.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
So that's
Way to
why
get-
I don't attribute it to as much as Donald Trump, you know, derangement syndrome, as much as something that was influencing him other than whether, like I said, whether it was a mental or problem or it was some type of drug.
Yeah,
Probably PCP because he wasn't feeling nothing at that point.
yeah. I mean, and he must have had some sort of accelerant on his body because the flames were like.
So he probably dumped gasoline on himself.
But it looked like the flames looked like an unreal color almost. Like they were
I
like
didn't tell
a
that.
dark orange. Like it was weird. Like some sort of chemical was burning on him.
Probably.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
that was definitely an interesting
fucking
topic
bizarre.
that
Yeah.
should have been
So
discussed.
all right, moving back to the board. Somebody put Brexit on here.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I think that's a hot topic just because Theresa May finally resigned out of the UK, and I've been seeing a lot of people online. You know, there was the whole milkshake incident where they
That's
were
another thing I meant to put on the board.
yeah
Forgot.
they were throwing milkshakes on. They threw milkshakes on like Nigel Farage.
yeah,
that
like
guy.
calling him a fascist and stuff. So like they've kind of the left has sort of taken just ordinary nationalism, I'll call it, and then they say any nationalist is a fascist, you know. And if you support UK independence, then you're automatically a fascist. And the same could be applied to MAGA hat people or Trumpers. You know, anybody that's America first, they could take that and say, well, you're automatically a fascist because you're a right-leaning nationalist. So this is something that's happening. I think if it was me, if I was in the UK, I would support it just because my impression. I would support Brexit because my impression of the UK or of the EU is that it's just a bureaucratic nightmare. I feel like those people are just arrogant, unelected, just useless regulators, and like I don't know. It seems like a dumpster fire. The EU seems like a dumpster fire, and I just think that it's probably
Okay, so
better off
when
for
it
them
comes
to get out of it.
when it comes to the EU, Kyle Wagner, you're an anarchist.
I'm not. No, I wouldn't say an anarchist, but I just would take.
decentralized.
You know, I
Decentralized.
decentralize. I think decentralization is a
There we
good.
But if there wasn't an EU, like Europe just would be at constant war with itself.
I mean, I think that some of the idea of it is, they've had these horrible
It's
world
Wilsonian
wars,
bullshit,
so they
that's
say,
what that
well,
is.
if we're part of a union, you become more of a economic threat and a military threat as a union, either to Russia or to the United States. So there's some motivation there for them to join forces together. And you would hope not fight anymore, but it's just a completely different culture over there. I don't know, like.
But you know what's funny? This was, God, almost going back like 20 years. Back in year 2000, I read an article when I was in school, and it said that one of the main reasons why this was kind of like a side note. It was in the paragraph I was reading about the European Union, because wasn't that when the European Union was really formed? Was like the year 2000?
Yeah, right around there.
Yeah. So I remember when it was formed, and they were like, "Well, we're not going to let the United States join the European Union because they still have the death penalty." And then I was like, wait a minute. Why the fuck would we want to join the European Union? Like, what the fuck?
Just by the name. It's like, we're not in Europe.
I know. Well, we are. We own a lot of land in Europe right now.
Do we really? United States
military
does.
bases?
Oh, okay.
Well, no. Hold on. We don't actually own that land now. At least in Germany, the bases I was stationed on, we don't own. We pay rent on.
Oh, that makes more
We
sense.
pay lease money on. There's a lot of reasons countries want us in there.
But if we stop paying that rent, do you think they'll come marching to us to those bases saying, "Give me back the land"?
Yeah.
I don't think they would.
No,
Do you think Germany would?
No, I don't think that. But the U.S. isn't going to do that.
It's one of those things where like, yeah, you're renting it from us forever.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. You know.
I agree.
I've lived in Europe for about a decade, so I mean,
okay.
I lived in Italy before it became part of the EU. And then I've been back after it's been in the EU. And then when I was stationed in Germany, they just switched to the Deutschmark, and I lived in Germany.
Where in Germany, if you don't mind?
I don't know. Heidelberg, Stuttgart area.
So what changes did you see resulting from the joining or the creation of the EU?
Yeah. Like when I lived in Italy, for instance, a cappuccino was about 1,800 lira before the switchover, which I think is maybe 50, 60 cents. And it almost seems like what they did was walk in. Okay, that was 1,800. They didn't actually balance everything. There is no grand economic team that comes around to the stores and sets all the prices. So it's just individuals. So it almost seems like whatever it was, like 1,800 just became €2. But in the real reality of it, €2 was worth more than the dollar was. So there wasn't an equal switchover of pricings compared to what people's incomes were. Mm-hmm. So they went up a lot. Yeah, and in fact, I was in Poland when Poland became part of the EU, but they didn't take theirs is slowly. A lot of the countries like Poland, they didn't take the euro. Mm-hmm. The really? Monetary part of it for a number of years because it would have literally wrecked their economies.
So what year was this?
Oh man, I went in 2001. So let's say somewhere 2005, 2008ish.
Okay. So
and when I was in Italy, it was in the late 90s. Okay. Yeah. And when I lived in Italy in the late 90s. So, right before it went over. So it has economically, it's affected it greatly. But then beyond that, the mentality of it. I try to explain it to people all the time over here. They've been in such a socialized system. Everything is about the government. I mean, everything is about the government, literally. Ugh. I mean, yeah. Their mentality, it's, we're Americans. We don't see it. But until you go over and in it for a while, there is a difference of a mentality in living in these two different kinds of cultures as well.
I was going to ask you about their sense of nationalism. Right, is it really difficult for them to surrender that national autonomy and be like, okay, it's Italy, but we're really part of the EU, and it's almost like giving up your nationality a little bit. They've retained them, and that's actually caused some friction there. Like the states here are very much sub to the federal government. You know what I mean? Most Americans would say, I'm an American. They would be an American first and a Marylander second, or a Texan, or maybe Texas is a bad example, but you know what I mean? Like the states are very much diminished compared to the federal government, whereas in Europe, they've had a history of very strong national governments, and so I always thought it was very interesting that you would take these people and try to put them and say, okay, now you're part of the EU, and now you're a citizen of the EU, and you have to kind of your nationality takes a little bit of a back seat.
It's so funny you say that because Elton John yesterday, an article came out saying Elton John's like, I'm not gonna call myself I'm not from England or I'm not British. I'm a European. That's what he tells people.
How stunning and brave.
I know, right? Dude, it's so funny because my kids are now they heard Elton John for the first time, so they're obsessed with Elton John. Oh, yeah. And I thought it was so funny the timing of it. This has happened this week, and he just says there, and I'm like, oh god.
No, they still
Sir
have
Elton.
when you're in Italy, boy, no, they still hold individually their nationalism. Germans are still very proud, all that part. I think really where it's come in is at the top of it.
Nervous, Jared?
As far as economics, corporations. I mean, it's all about money. No, let's not kid ourselves. That's what the EU's all about, is the money.
Yeah, I mean,
side
you're
of it,
combining so many people's economies together. I mean, what do you think? Like, that's why everyone's like, oh my God, the euro is so much stronger than the dollar. I'm like,
and their whole argument is like, oh, it facilitates trade better. But the reality is, how does it facilitate trade better? You're just forcing people to trade. Like you're setting certain prices. Like, how hard is it for countries to just agree to trade? You know.
Yeah, I don't think it should be that hard. I mean, free trade should be, national governments can accept the inflow and outflow of goods without tariffs and without migration barriers and things like that. They can. Mm-hmm. My impression of the EU is just that they regulate the crap out of everything.
Right, exactly.
Right,
Absolutely.
so it actually makes trade probably more difficult because you have so many things to comply with.
Yeah.
You have a whole other set of regulations on top of your national regulations that you have to read and know about and comply with. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I don't know. I thought Brexit seemed like a good idea. I was like, they weren't part of the monetary union also. They stayed on the pound.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Makes it infinitely easier to say we're going to leave the EU.
I feel like secession is never a bad idea.
It wasn't here, was it?
Yeah. I think it can be. I think you have to look at I think it really depends on the situation. It could be that you're better off as part of a larger country, and that you could, if your country seceded and you were a smaller country, you would lose military advantages, you would lose trade power, you would lose a lot of land or access to land. I mean, it could be detrimental to your country,
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess you could look at it that way.
Yeah, it really depends on the situation, and it depends on the condition of the country you're leaving. Are you leaving a good situation or a bad situation? I mean, if you're living in a dictatorship and then your little state secedes, then yeah, you're probably going to be better off. But if you're living in a really nice country and then you secede, that could cause a lot of problems.
Well, you hit it on the head earlier, sorry. And we always talk about as libertarians, we vote with our feet. And the one thing that the EU did for the common citizen, we'll say over there, is it took those borders down. So beforehand, a citizen of Italy, they can't go get a job in France, Germany, or whatever. There's a lot of paperwork. You couldn't even cross the border without trouble. But now, if you had an Italian passport, you can go work anywhere in the EU.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
that from a libertarian perspective, that's a benefit.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, it has both sides, but that is one of the things for the common person, like you or me.
You sound like an You sound like the Antichrist ushering in the New World Government.
Yeah, that'll be the day.
No, I'm just fucking around,
man.
No, but I mean, that's what I feel
Illuminati.
like. I'm trying to think of a country that's so great that if I was living there, I wouldn't want to secede from it and create something more free. I can't imagine it. So that's all I'm saying about secession. Did you guys see this week on Netflix? I think it was. They came out with some was it roasts of dead people?
Oh yeah, historical roasts.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It was.
And then it was like Gilbert Gottfried was Hitler.
Oh,
and he was like roasting him.
Oh, I heard about
Did you
this.
watch that?
I haven't watched it yet. I just saw that's the preview. Like when when you hover on top of the show and they show like a little preview. Well, that was what they showed. I was like, goddamn. All right.
Oh my goodness!
I need to watch
so
that.
funny, dude. It was I love Gilbert Gottfried. I have ever since I saw Problem Child in the theaters in 1989. Dude, it's just such I don't know, Gilbert Gottfried, he's just the man, dude.
He's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious.
He's very uninhibited. I heard that Hitler skit is getting a lot of blowback from the left. They're very triggered.
Of course.
They're very triggered.
Tell me something.
I think I said it's hard to make a good Hitler joke
I
or
think
something.
I think they really just need to respect Gilbert Gottfried's Jew card.
I'm surprised it made it on the Netflix.
Oh yeah, that's
You know?
right. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Gilbert Gottfried's Jewish. They need to respect his Jew card, right, Jared?
Yes.
but he's not. He may not be
I
a
mean,
Zionist. So.
Jared, don't you think it's kind of anti-Semitic that they do not respect his Jew card?
Yes.
That's what I think.
Yes.
Motherfuckers.
Did you guys hear about the show Chernobyl?
Yeah, that's
yeah.
just like an anti-nuclear, just propaganda from what I've heard.
You think so?
Yeah, it's very anti-nuclear propaganda.
I'd be fascinated.
Save the world, but not with nuclear energy.
exactly. Yeah, it's pretty much scaring everybody. Instead, it should be about the fucking incompetence and all-around awfulness of Soviet Russia, but it's a lot of people's takeaways from it are how bad nuclear energy could be, and that's the takeaway everyone is getting from it.
I think it kind of depends on your leanings going in.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
If you're a
I was gonna say
libertarian going in, you're going to be like, God, the Soviets are a bunch of morons. We should never put government in charge of nuclear power.
Right.
Whereas, if your inclination is we should ban nuclear power and fossil fuels, then you're going
Which
to be
is
like,
almost everybody.
Yeah.
right, you're going to take away the different message out of it. I still would. I heard it's an entertaining show. I would watch it just for entertainment, and I love like disaster stuff. I like Jurassic Park. Everything goes wrong. It all falls apart. You're
a minarchist. You shouldn't
I
like
like those
that.
kind of shows, and
It should scare you.
well, I just enjoy it from an entertainment perspective. I'd really enjoy watching Chernobyl, and they say it's like crazy, man. They they didn't tell anybody that they had a meltdown. They covered it up for as long as they possibly could, and they were sending people into this like deadly radiation to make repairs or do whatever, and it kills you. And
Yeah.
I guess it spread around the world just
Yeah,
from
because
that one incident.
the
It got
reason
into
we
the
found out
airstream.
about it was from the we were like, we're detecting a huge like plume of radiated particles coming our way. What the fuck is this? And then we really find out like, oh yeah, like a week ago something happened in Chernobyl. It's no big deal. Don't worry about it.
Well, we sent. I had heard that we sent spy planes over, and they saw from the sky that one of the reactors was open. Like the lid had blown off or whatever. So, and then they still
It
had
was
two
just
other ones that they kept going. Apparently, like they didn't just shut the whole operation down. It was like this building is having a meltdown, but we'll just keep these two going.
And that's the thing too, is like the way it was designed. From what I've been hearing from a lot of people who don't know about anything about nuclear, like how they should build the plants and stuff. Same thing with Fukushima. They said the same thing there. Is it was designed poorly and faulty, and that's why there's so much like problems with these things, because it was like designed somewhere where it should have been something with the roof needed. I don't know. I don't remember the specifics.
I mean,
of
that
it,
was the.
but it's like they were just poorly designed, and that's why it failed. And
that was a tsunami, though.
Statistically,
right?
Well,
yeah, but they should have prepared it. It should have had something to do with the roof. Should have
How
had
do you
something
prepare
to do,
for a tsunami? Like, I guess you do.
Yeah, you do when you're on. When
you're in
Japan.
tsunami land.
But you can guarantee the one in Russia wasn't up to world
no,
standards.
no.
I actually heard from some history folks and even a couple of mainstream Republican radio and some other folks say that they enjoyed the show actually it was a very good depiction of what really happened there. Some of the stuff anyway, maybe not the whole part of it, but there was some stuff that we don't think about, that if a nuclear fallout, something happens like that have to take place. And I won't even mention them here, but through watching that show, it put them in people's, oh, wow. And they are accurate, by the way.
They had to kill the animals, right? Because the animals got radiation, and you couldn't have
like
a
150 miles.
It's almost like it's like rabies.
Yeah.
You can't
They
have
said,
the
don't watch the
animal,
episode if you're a dog
the
lover.
radioactive dog going to some other town and getting close to a child or something, and then the child gets cancer. So they had to kill all the animals.
Yeah.
It was nuts, and I haven't watched the show yet. I've just heard about it.
I heard a lot about
and,
it too. I have not watched.
I'm excited to watch it.
I'll probably end up watching it. I'm always looking for good shows to watch.
Hell yeah, dude.
Fuck.
All right. So also in the news.
Let's do the woke capitalism. I'm
All right. Well, Jesus,
chomping at the bit,
Phil.
man.
All right. So woke capitalism. What do you have to say?
yeah, man. So it's Pride
what do you have
Month.
to say? Simple plan.
So it's Jesus. Fuck off. So
Are you in too deep?
It's woke capitalism
It's not
month.
simple
It's
plan, similar.
yeah, man. So it is Pride Month. So every company is telling you how much they support LGBTQRS ING.
TV.
Yeah. So they're telling you how much they support it and approve of it. So it's just it's that time of it's that time of the year that where pride is everything to everybody, and it's whatever, it's good, Pride. Apparently it started, I don't know, did you guys know about the origins of the Pride March?
No.
It was from pretty much like a police brutality case where it was almost like a riot. The first Pride parade was like almost like a riot.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And that was kind of that was like, that's pretty cool. But yeah, so it's a good thing. Pride's a good thing. I think Maryland Libertarians are having a booth at Pride in Baltimore, which is next weekend or something like that. Maybe weekend afterwards.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, so it's good and all, but it's just something that seems a little disingenuous when I see every company going out of their way. Like, so I was on my way over here, and I crossed the Guinness Brewery, which is right across the street from my house. And I was driving, they took down the Irish flag, and they put up the rainbow flag.
Okay.
And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, hold on. I don't know how laws work in North Ireland or in
I'm pretty sure in Ireland, what is it? Oh, I'm sorry. Keep going.
I say I know if you're talking abortion, I know abortion's illegal in North Ireland.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Which also we're gonna get to in a minute, but I just thought it just seems so forced, you know. And I mean, I guess it's a good thing. I mean, more inclusion, and I mean, it's not. I don't know. For me, someone who's like, well, you should be more principled, but you really shouldn't just get involved because you might isolate half of your.
But don't you think it kind of? But don't you think it kind of shows how
the market's working?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
so if most, because the market is just sort of a passive thing that could be used for good, could be used for bad, whatever. But it really just reflects the needs, the wants, the desires, whatever, the values of the society, right?
Yeah.
So if the society is getting more open and inclusive, and the companies are trying to sell products to them. Then the companies become open and inclusive. I don't really see. Yeah, do I take them as being like genuinely giving a shit? Not really. They're trying to make $1, but that's what I want them to do. That they're corporations.
Even at PRL, we're trying to reach out to that community with by means of Jared's T-shirt.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Mike Shipley, but
what? It's red. It's red.
It's kind of pinkish,
salmon, bro.
It's kind of pinkish.
It's pretty salmon.
It's salmon.
But no,
it's kind of a hot pink.
I think it could
Charcoal?
be kind of a double-edged sword because a lot of people. I mean, it's very non-genuine to me. Very disingenuous.
Well, that's the corporate side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so apparently now it's like it has its own month now. It's sort of turning into like Black History Month where now it's its own month. I didn't, more and more every year. This comes up June apparently is that, which it's kind of a good thing. But at the same time, I wonder how genuine it is when apparently there's a tweet that went out from Chick-fil-A. And I don't know if this is fake or not. I just saw it while we were actually recording. It said like we appreciate just pretty much pro LGBT, and someone had a post with it saying, "If I play both sides, I always win." Because apparently they're very, the CEO doesn't support, pro gay things or anything like that, or
It's usually marriage is the main issue.
Yeah,
gay marriage.
that is a sticking point.
Yeah,
a lot.
Well, I think with Chick-fil-A, I think the owners and everything are very Christian because they're closed on Sundays, from what I remember. So they're pretty observing. So, but hey, like Jared was saying, it's a corporation; they want to make money too. So.
Exactly, and so
come on in.
A company like Chick-fil-A is willing to sacrifice.
Wait, did they do a Pride thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Chick-fil-A made a post on Twitter. I don't know how real it is, so that's why I don't want to go hard with it. But I
gotta look this up.
Look at the bearded libertarian. Or you go to Chick-fil-A.
Well, I'll just search.
Trump made a pro LGBT,
which is so funny.
Well,
oh my God, it's so
irritating
funny.
The hell out of the left.
Well, because I was told there was all these things going out where it's the Gays for Trump. Like there's a group called Gays for Trump, and that's been around for a while.
Yeah.
And so a lot of their tweets have been going out, and people are like, that's stupid. That doesn't even make sense. And then here he goes, post this thing like. Total pro LGBT thing of how he's sponsoring some type of legislation for other countries. Like, hey, we want to encourage everyone get rid of your anti-LGBT laws and very welcoming, inclusive. And people are like losing their mind. Like I see a lot. I'm friends with a few gay people, and they're kind of just. Like they have their blinders up. They're just like, whatever. No, I didn't see that. Don't know. Because they're very anti-Trump.
Yeah, they can't. I mean, it's kind of. We were a little bit.
Yeah, I'm
like
not
that
seeing
with
any Pride stuff on the chick.
Okay, all right, good. So it was probably fake.
Yeah.
It was probably fake. But I thought it was so funny. I saw the bearded libertarian, which is what's his face? Who follows us? Oh my God, Ed. You guys know Ed Kimlock, whatever.
Wait, that's his page?
Yeah, bearded libertarian. That's Ed.
Oh, I didn't know.
He's
that.
he's like one of the biggest supporters.
Ed.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Shout out.
Yeah, so it's his page, and he posted it, and it just made me laugh. I saw it like while we were recording, so I was like, oh my god, I hope this is true because it'd be so funny. But yeah, so this also kind of ties into now like Disney. The CEO of Disney, I forget his name. He came out and said because Georgia is passing kind of a law similar to what would happen in Alabama about abortion after 9 weeks is illegal. So they have their own kind of tight abortion law that's in.
I thought it was
effect
6
right now.
weeks. Is it
6.
or
I don't know.
9?
I don't know the details of it, but so essentially he came out and said, if this goes through, if this gets passed into law, it's going to be difficult and hard for us, and we don't think we can film in Georgia. Which I don't know if you guys noticed this, but a lot of shows, Georgia's a really good place to film.
Yes.
And I think a lot of the reason is, which they don't really tell you, is the taxes might be lower.
That's
Cost.
Yeah,
It's
the
cost.
cost of it is
Yeah.
so much cheaper. So it works, it's a kind of like
And
a
the
mutually
weather's nicer
beneficial.
there.
Yeah, it's mutually beneficial relationship. So now everyone's grandstanding now because of these laws, with the abortion laws, but they neglect to tell you that Disney filmed a movie just this past summer in Malaysia where being gay is against the law and abortion's against the law. So why didn't you film there? Why were you so against it now when it's in Georgia?
Well, it's
I mean,
politics.
because
They're playing
now it's a
politics.
hot issue.
Yeah, exactly. So it's fake. It's phony, and it's there's no. And a lot of people are saying this too. Like they also talk about the girl who played Sansa Stark from Game of Thrones. She also said she will never film anything in Georgia anymore. But she filmed the last season or a bunch of seasons of Game of Thrones in North Ireland where abortion is illegal.
Oh,
So you're just it's very fraudulent. We see past you.
it's like now you care.
Yeah, now you care all of a sudden when it happens in the United States when she's British. So it doesn't even make sense to me. But, so it goes to this whole thing of, everyone's been calling woke capitalism, where these corporations are taking stands, usually leftist stands. Some of the leftists will be like, well, you have Hobby Lobby and Chick-fil-A, and then they'll compare that to, say, like the leftist policies of companies like PayPal or
Apple.
Bank of America, Apple, all these things.
But is Hobby Lobby
everything.
and Chick-fil-A actually advertising the stuff? No, it's
They're
just
not-
they're donating to like certain campaigns, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're not like running ads like
Dave Smith,
like gay marriage is bad,
right?
Like,
Dave Smith was talking about this, and it's like fucking like people on the right and like conservatives, they don't protest shit really. Like they just don't give a shit.
Tea Party.
You get those boomers who are on, but for the most part, people still go. They'll still watch movies. They'll still keep their Netflix, because Netflix also came against filming in Georgia and stuff like that. So they'll still hold their Netflix accounts. Where the left is like, no, I can't be.
what about
associated with
Gillette though,
anything.
dude? Or whatever, Norelco, whatever the fuck it was.
It was Gillette. Yeah, teach your transgender child how to shave. That was the
No, but it wasn't the right. Like the right was like protesting. They're like, I'm smashing all my Gillette razors.
But what person do you know?
Did they really?
Yeah, like a handful of people.
I mean,
it goes both ways.
It does
definitely
go.
does.
It that's all I'm saying is it goes both ways. But yeah, I mean, it is.
Pimpery pays. So
You know what struck me about that though, with the thing with Disney, just right off my first inclination of it was, what did Disney start out as?
right?
How ironic.
Yeah. You think about.
I mean, I don't, whatever side you fall
Dude,
on
you-
that, you
dude,
fall on that, topic on, fine. But
Okay, so what do you think Disney first started out as? Like, I mean, I'm just.
well, didn't they make theme parks and stuff and all that for children?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about like how it actually started. I'm a fan of a lot of the Disney movies from the as far back as the 50s.
But
I believe.
Disney was a company geared to sell Mickey Mouse to little kids. I mean, it was
Very
a children's
family
company.
friendly,
Yeah, it was a children's
oriented.
company. So I find, just when I first heard that, I thought it was highly ironic over that topic that Disney.
I mean, and the thing that they need to come out and say is, well, it's going to be hard for us to film there because it's going to be hard for you to get these woke celebrities who will refuse contracts to work for them.
Maybe
if they
so.
film in Georgia, whatever, they take a stance. So they're kind of controlling the narrative. So now they're saying, well, it's because we disagree with it. So, well, no, you're taking a stance so you can keep all your people you have lined up to star in your new films, keep them on your, keep them in, because that's who's going to get the attention at the box office. Because I don't know. Most of my family and friends and stuff on this side are very
like conservative Republican types. None of them protest Hollywood.
Yeah.
They complain and bitch about it, but none of them will not see any type of movie like, oh, he's in that, I'm not going to watch it, type of thing, where they're not protesting. And I know it's very anecdotal. It's like me, close to me, but I do know a lot of people and just the vibe of it. Like, I don't agree with these, like anything, like Netflix is taking a stand against the abortion laws, and I'm a very anti-abortion. So, but I'm also keeping my Netflix subscription because I want to watch Netflix. Like I want to see Office reruns all the time. Like I don't care. Like I'm not gonna. They have to really push me over the edge to get me to protest something like that. And that's just me. It's just my life. But I do see it a lot, and the dialogue you hear is clearly different when it comes from the left. And they seem to be demanding this. You need to take a position. These corporations, like, you need to take a position on this. Where a lot of leftists are like people on the right or conservatives, they're just like, whatever. Like, I don't want to hear about it. It's fine. You have your political positions, but I don't want to hear about it.
Well, what do you personally think? Don't you think it's good to reward companies that do things that you like?
Well, definitely. But also I
want to reward a company that provides a good product.
Well, first and foremost,
right.
but I don't want them killing Jews on the side.
Well, yeah, okay, there's a certain extreme, but it's like, I don't know if they have a certain opinion on something, or they disagree with me on something. I'm not just going to stop buying stuff.
Well, yeah.
The problem is politics distorts all this, because now you have okay, what if they're advocating for making marijuana or keeping marijuana illegal? I really don't want to support them then, right? Like, I don't want my money to go into that cause to keep marijuana legal. But if we didn't have to worry about that kind of shit,
so
if it was just a free market.
You're saying depending on the issue, there are some issues that could definitely force
I'm just saying the ideal, Ancapistan or free marketville, it would just really be what kind of products do they make? Like, if they had an opinion about something where they're like, oh, I don't like, I don't even know what I would care about, what they would, opinion I would care about, they don't like fucking rap music or something. Like, they have a campaign against rap music, and I'd be fine.
Okay, well, let me throw it at you. So, Ben and Jerry's, they contribute to, they're big on gun control.
Right, that's politics.
So, well, it's the right to bear arms. It's it's probably the cornerstone of freedom. Is your right to bear arms. As long as you have that freedom, at least you have a sporting chance at defending all your other freedoms. So, and for Ben and Jerry,
I don't know, dude. I love me some half baked though. So.
Oh no, I'm right there with you. I love me some too, especially when I'm half baked.
Or fully baked.
Or fully baked, yeah. But at the same time, it's kind of like, if they're going to do that, and, that's something that's pretty serious to me, because, like I said, it's the cornerstone of freedom. It's your most important right.
I actually didn't know that. Now I got to rethink things.
Yeah, so, the way I look at it is, I can find another brand of ice cream,
Right?
Well, and, I think more of it is, just the actual, the actual direct, pragmatic view on it, which is... it's one thing if they make some sort of stand against something. It's another thing if your money is literally going into their pockets and then going directly into whatever foundation, Moms Demand Gun Control or whatever the fuck.
Or the Clinton Foundation.
Or the Clinton Foundation or whatever. If I know for a fact.
I'm sorry, the Clinton Crime Family
If I could draw a straight line from my money to the ice cream to this thing, then that makes it a little bit more tangible for me. Whereas if it's just someone makes, if some company's just we're not a fan of
the only
this
thing I can relate to in this is it's kind of different, but Pulling Teeth was a Baltimore hardcore band. They were awesome. I love Pulling Teeth. But their reunion show that came out, they were like, we're not taking any of the proceeds. We're all giving it to Planned Parenthood. And I couldn't go to the show. I couldn't bring myself to go to that show.
Yeah,
put money. Because literally me giving $10.
Yeah, you're giving it directly
to Planned Parenthood.
See,
I'm so against that.
Because with the Ben and Jerry's thing, I could say, well, some of the money might be going to this thing, but most of it's going to.
Yeah, it's lining their pockets.
What's that?
It's lining Ben and Jerry's pockets. They may advocate.
But I
think maybe not a significant.
I was thinking more so the employees, There's plenty of probably poor people that are mining, mining, or just
mining
like,
the ice cream,
or like mining, like digging,
mining.
like farming like cocoa beans for the
right.
The whole fucking the pencil analogy. Like there's
yeah.
people that are benefiting, but yeah, if it's just like this band is taking the money and then literally like running it over to Planned Parenthood.
Because think about it, if they had an ice cream ban, they're like, well, this is all going to Moms Demand Action. Every quart you buy this, 100% of the proceeds are going to Moms Demand Action.
Yeah,
I wouldn't fucking touch that ice cream. like I don't care.
I
wouldn't touch it.
The only product boycott I can remember doing was like Exxon during the Valdez spill, and then BP during the Gulf oil spill. I didn't go to BP for like probably a year or something like that. That's the only one I can really remember being pissed off about.
I didn't go to Citgo for a little bit either.
Kyle, I trust you won't be boycotting the auto blow.
Oh man,
dude, I gotta hit that guy up. I think it's time to deliver.
But Phil, you are right. I've seen actually some and heard from some advertisers. When it comes to, they do take your political things into account, and you are correct. There's a lot of folks who, right leaning, let's say, that they won't protest, and they take that. So by, let's say, what you were talking about going by the brewery earlier, they know that they're those customers they'll keep.
Yeah,
they're not gonna come anti-protest because they love their product so much. But you can get that other group if you go ahead and put up the other flag, or at least market to them. And then it seems to be like in this. I noticed everything nowadays. Like every commercial I see, what's the guys that make socks? The money goes to this.
Yeah.
I saw shoes, the glasses guys. It's almost like for the younger generations, and maybe even my generation, it seems almost like a general marketing ploy that now that you attach your product to some cause. You've seen like the one. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Even the one with the plastic bags from everything to everything. Every company you buy now.
But I mean, I don't see that as a bad thing per se.
No, I don't say it. Yeah, I don't necessarily think it is.
Right. It does depend on where it's going. Like if it's going to gun control, I don't like it. But if it's like this is going to a kids charity, or this is going to breast cancer research or whatever, and even if it's just woke capitalism and it's just it's not genuine, it doesn't matter, because the effect is, okay, now we don't need the government to do these things, right? Because you have these corporations giving their money.
But one thing I wanted to attach to before we go is that a topic was brought up by Dave Smith is, look what they did to Alex Jones. They depersoned him. Like, he can't, so what happens when it goes to as far as when banks like Citigroup or Bank of America say, you can't have a bank account with us, so you can't funnel any, and so what happens?
Bitcoin, baby.
But what happens when these companies say, well, you can't host a web page on all of our groups. Like you can't. What happens when we are taking a stand? If you own a gun, we don't want you at Bank of America. We don't want you at Citigroup. We don't want you, because you see how they all work together. The way they work together to get Alex Jones gone. That was just a little snippet into how they can collude together at once, just one swoop, deperson you.
Well, that's like a libertarian position, is that you could boycott people that you don't like.
It's true. Yeah. But when these companies collude with government, they take government money, they get bailed out by the government, and on top of it, I can still be like, that's still a dick move. Like, that's still awful.
You just go to another internet provider, and you go to another social media platform.
But there's how many ISPs are there, man? Like, for real, how many?
Start a new one, I don't know.
How hard is that? You know the regulations? They have that. They fucking have that shit on lockdown. You can't just start an ISP.
Who's they? The Jews?
Whoa. The lizard people, man. The Babylonian Brotherhood.
All right, so we're going to take this on over to the after hours here.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd like to tell everybody we have the Patreon now. So if you contribute a minimum of $1 per month, you can check out our after hours program, which we usually post about 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We throw that up, and you can just find it on the Patreon. Also, we have T-shirts over at libertariancountry.com, and if you put in the code PRL or the code PRL podcast, you'll receive a 10% discount. Until next time, live free
or die.
All right, got through about half the topics.
1 sec.